So, you're a romantic. You believe love conquers all, and to prove that point, you've been holed up in your room all day watching romance anime. No, there ain't anything wrong with that. In fact, I think you and I may have something in common, and that's why I think I'm perfectly qualified to take you away on this new romantic journey. To take you away from the world of indecisive protagonists trapped in a never-ending harem. To take you away from the shoujo anime with the two flowery protagonists who don't kiss until season 2. To take you away to a time when love broke the class barrier, and it did it in one season. All I'm saying is, I think I've got something that you might like. Emma, Victorian romance. The anime equivalent of the live-action chick flick period piece. In fact, this entire script would likely work as a live-action chick flick period piece, and that's what makes it very tricky to recommend. Most romance anime, whether they're shonen or shoujo, have a very usual makeup. One is that they typically take place in high school, and two, the majority of them like to develop their drama at a snail's pace. And if they aren't developing the drama at a snail's pace, then it's likely a harem, in which case you're lucky to get any development at all. So, when selling Emma to a fan of romance anime, you've got to tell them up front that this does not have a lot of the same things that made them fall in love with the medium's version of the genre. All the zaniness of Toradora, all the frustratingly shy developments of Kimini Tsudoke, and the absence of a dense protagonist means that this is not your best girl's romance anime. Emma is an anime that implements its setting directly into the drama of the story, instead of it just being used as a backdrop or an excuse for our characters to meet. This is not the story of the new shy girl in Class 3C, this is a story of 19th century London, where there are defined social boundaries when it comes to one's class. If you're a wealthy son from a wealthy family, then it is expected of you to marry a wealthy daughter from a wealthy family. This is the foreboding taboo that surrounds the show over its 2 12-episode season run. A rich man falls in love with a low-class housemaid, and they're ready to make every viewer croon and get those gift-making fingers ready. Our story is about William Jones and Emma, two people unfortunately on exact opposite sides of the class line. William is the oldest son of his house, the House of Jones, which is a very wealthy middle-class family hoping to increase their status. And as the oldest son, William is tasked with ensuring this happens. He deals with the pressure of having to take on his family's business and also shacking up with another wealthy family. This doesn't sit right with William though, as he would much rather shack up with his newfound infatuation, Emma. Emma is our heroine of the story, and although she's a simple housemaid, she's much more under the surface. Not only is she mild-mannered, but she's also very well-read beyond her means, and she dons a very stylish pair of specs. What that means, aside from the fact that she's vision-impaired and likes John Green, is that she's much better off than most people in her position. This is all made possible thanks to her employer, and our story's conduit, Kelly Stonar. In the past, Emma was an orphan, with nowhere to go, and it was Kelly Stonar who took her in and put her to work. Kelly instilled in Emma the skills and values of a higher-class citizen, teaching her to read and to write, and of course how to do all that maid stuff, but Emma isn't the only one Kelly Stonar laid down the rules for. Before she retired, she was the Jones family governess. Yes, she tutored William and his siblings to become good little rich boys and girls, instilling the same exact values she would then instill in Emma. Now, you can probably guess how our protagonists run into one another. On one of William's visits to see his old teacher, he catches a glimpse of Emma, and the sight of her rocks his little British socks off. Now, I don't want to use that phrase, the rest is history, because friends, that would be a spoiler. And in a story where the conflict is plenty, it would be unfair to call this one early. Because despite Emma being brought up with the skills of a governess, she's still a lowly housemaid. Both William and Emma know that no matter how much they begin to feel for one another, society will always keep them apart. And this is where someone like Eleanor Campbell comes in, the daughter of a viscount who insists that she marry William, which makes her the third piece of our inevitable love triangle. Eleanor Campbell is one of those characters put into a very unfair position. You know she isn't a bad person, but she's got the tough job of trying to overcome the "look bitch, I know you want a piece of this pie, but the plot already ate it" syndrome. But honestly, as hopeless and annoying as she may be at times, it's a much-needed conflict in a story that would probably meander on without it. The added threat that William could potentially be married off against his will adds a sense of urgency to our main duo's development, and it all ebbs and flows naturally. Our leads have a long road ahead, and the show's conflict and tone all feel realistic, pairing up quite nicely with its art direction. The character designs are grounded, and the show opts to take advantage of its muted look to portray 19th century London as convincingly as it can. So, whether you're new to the genre or a hardened veteran, I think Emma has something unique for everyone. Whether it's the taboo forbidden love between our leads or the idea of being transported to 19th century London, there's enough here that leads me to believe that if you like romance anime, you might like Emma, a Victorian romance.